episode.
They won't miss you, but it's different. I was doing my own living. I'm thinking living. I ain't doing on my own, I'm living. I'm thinking, I'm feeling. I'm telling you that nigga gon' drop it. You tell me get money, get the chopper. When you pay my money, I'ma do it on my own, I don't need a feature. Split a meal with Rari, that my girl keeper. Mama thought a nigga family, but we really trappers. BG said get the money, he gon' work the chopper. BG prayed before the lick and even prayed after. I can see who gon' betray me like the last supper. I want a hundred little fame, but I'ma need my masters. Fake niggas acting real, digit, real imposter. Every day I think how to get a meal faster. How I'm beefing with my mama, gotta do better. Never thought I'd see my broski living on a sweater. So they got my heart freeze when I see his mother. Got my brother from the slums, we gon' shine together. We gon' fight a different country just to change the weather. New money, new drip, they gon' notice us. We gon' work, no sleep, so they envy us. Marathon like nip, you don't gotta rush. Get money, get low, keep that shit on hush. Seen dogs turn snakes, so I barely trust. OTF like Dirk, so it's only us. Pull up drippin' SRT, make them notice us. We been getting to the money, cause that's just a must. I'ma make sure they remember when I turn to dust. Hella serious, styrofoam, no one hides us.
Welcome to another episode of the Mendable Hustler podcast, and we have a special guest with us today. My boy, my brother-in-law, Bishop from Regent Park. Bishop. But first and foremost, you already know the vibes, positive vibes only. Of course, we have here my co-host Toro, and today as our first guest on our podcast, just like for the supporters who are asking us to, just keep up with the content, just keep doing the what we're doing. We really fall in love with the process, and we have a special guest. And Bishop, can you just introduce yourself and give them just a little bit of your background?
All right, my name is Bishop. I'm a 26-year-old artist out of downtown Toronto. Started making music a while ago. My music is mostly focused on past experience, trying to shed light to struggle, but trying to do it in a creative way. And yeah, I just started my campaign and about to start pushing hard.
That's what's up. And of course, the main reason why I wanted to have you on our podcast, because you have a very interesting story. It's best for us to bring you on the podcast, and of course, there's a lot of people that could relate to your story. It's somebody that probably in love with music, that going through experience, creating music, and they're trying to make a music career, right? So before we go on and give them you come up, right? Because you grew up in one of the most I'll say dangerous part of Toronto, Regent Park, of course. I just wanted you to just go back. It doesn't have to be all everything that you experienced. Just pretty much say how hard it was just to grow up in Regent Park. And yeah.
Well, first, Regent Park is the oldest project homes in North America. The housing projects in New York, the buildings are actually modeled after the way the complexes in Regent Park are built. It's a community riddled with a lot of poverty, and you see poor black people, poor white people, Indians, everyone. It's a melting pot.
Right.
So you see struggle looking different colors of struggle, right? One thing about it, as much as it was dangerous going outside every day, there was always a sense of community. So you get two different kinds of people that come out of neighborhoods like that.
Yeah.
There's people that learn from seeing their friends pass away at an early age, and people that lost it early and started engaging in certain things. So it's a crazy
when
dynamic.
you say like early age, like how old you say?
Well, I'll say it like this. I moved to Regent Park going into grade 5 and in grade 6.
Before Richard Park, where like you coming from?
Jane and Treaty Way, which wasn't it wasn't
Nice.
it wasn't as bad as Regent Park, but it's not another nice.
It's also like the project.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Regent Park is a whole different
It's a whole
animal.
different door.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll say like in grade 5 we moved there. Grade 6, October of grade 6.
Yeah.
I forget exactly the year I witnessed like the first homicide.
Damn.
Right.
The grade 6. How old are you in grade
Grade
6?
6, like I can't. How old are you supposed to be in grade 6?
Grade 12, 13.
11, 13.
Yeah.
Yeah,
12,
and I'm like
13.
a year older, so I would have been like 13 in grade 6.
Damn. And then like just how's that experience?
Well, at that time it was scary because now you don't want to go outside. Your parents are aware of what's going on, so now your parents are always paranoid when you go outside.
Right.
You're confused because at that age, like you're not exactly sure why. You're looking for reasons why something like that is happening, not knowing that the reasons are bigger than you could even imagine at that age.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah, like that's tough. And then for me, it's kind of like similar, you know, like me coming from Angola. I came here in Canada when I was 13, and I'm seeing things like that early, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but like you said, you know, as you go outside, you're kind of scary, but you get used to it, the environment, right?
You adapt to it.
You adapt to the environment.
As a kid, you're not gonna stay inside all day.
Yeah.
So eventually, you make a decision.
You make a decision.
Right.
You stay inside the house
or you
come out.
Yeah.
But you know all you boys gonna be outside, right?
Right.
It's kind of like you get used to the environments. When you see somebody get shot, it's just like, oh, it's another day. Somebody got shot.
It gets like that later on.
You know what I mean?
It's just routine.
Then, like now, going forward, like just keep cut some ears. Now, because of the mentality that you have, it's in you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's in you. So now, how is it like now as growing up? Let's say you're in grade 10.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now you have the mentality. Now you can't be scared because you have to face that. You have to go outside. You know what I mean?
Grade 10. Grade 10 was the most confused version of me that you would find. Grade 10. I embodied everything that my neighborhood was about. Grade 10, me and my parents weren't getting along. That's where the relationship with the parents started getting sour. Your family members are looking at you like you're the trouble cousin, and
now you have to go outside, right?
Yeah, and when I go outside, everyone says what's up. They see my parents, they're helping my mom up with the groceries and stuff, and she's not understanding why.
Right.
That's because by that age, 4 or 5 years into the neighborhood, you fully embodied everything the hood is about. Like now when you step outside, you say like, yeah, I'm from Regent. Like you're claiming it now.
Because you're part of it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So one of the main goals of this podcast is to find ways to motivate people.
Yeah.
And through 6 episodes so far, we've taken topics to dive deep within our own experiences to try to give relatable experiences that people can take and help them become motivated to becoming the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
And through hearing your struggle, obviously it was a challenge. It wasn't something that everyone wants. But out of that, it was very beneficial for you in terms of becoming a disciplined individual, in terms of finding motivation from everything that you can find.
Yeah.
But there's people that didn't have that.
For sure.
But there are people that had a very, how should I say, a very good lifestyle in terms of going out.
Right.
That when they're older, they're lacking that motivation, they're lacking that discipline.
Yeah.
We're kind of like...
Or able to get out the neighborhood, you know, like financially, like there's, of course, you had friends who probably their parents, they were good financially, able to like take their sons out of the neighborhood before they get into that mentality, or they become a part of the environment.
Yeah, I'm talking about the people that never were in that environment.
Okay.
The people that had a family, had a father and a mother that were good financially.
Okay.
But today they find it very hard to stay motivated, to stay disciplined in order to become a good version of himself,
Okay.
both mentally and physically. So
Yeah.
I was asking him, it's like, what kind of advice would you give for them, the ones that are lacking motivation, the ones that are just sitting by and looking for things to get them to move forward?
Sometimes I would say personally, because for me, one thing that made me different from a lot of the kids, like a lot of the kids that I grew up with, is that, for example, I would say a lot of my friends, for you to even get into one of those homes, you have to have a single parent. It has to be a single parent household. So a lot of those kids are only living with like their mom, the dad's not in the family, or vice versa.
So you were just there with?
No, that's what I'm saying. Although we had altercations and whatnot in our family,
Yeah.
I still had a father, right? Even though if I still had a father, I still had a home to come to every day. Mom cooked every day.
So
I had a stable environment at home where there are some kids in the neighborhood that once they go inside, there's no different from the outside and the inside. And sometimes inside's even worse. But to answer your question, I would say sometimes you don't even have to look too far for the motivation, right? You just have to look around you. Really, you just have to look around you, and the things that you see that you want to change around you, the things that just make it hard for you to sleep at night, that should become motivation. And then from there you build on. Right? Yeah.
So the people we have around is big, and of course, people to look up to parents, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a major big part. You know what I mean?
I have another question.
Okay.
Right, so we all have different forms in which we express ourselves. What about music specifically did you decide to focus on music? Because I know through friends and family, they express themselves through...
maybe you could just say, when did you start to fall in love with music?
Oh,
that's...
You know what I mean? But the question was, there are different mediums from which you can express yourself.
Yeah.
Why did you specifically choose music?
Well, it's funny like that. I wouldn't even say I actually chose it, but I've always been a writer, like my whole life. So I started out with poetry, just writing poems, right? And that was just my way of expressing myself because I was never like a very vocal kid.
Right.
I didn't speak too much about, like I speak a lot, but I don't ever say anything really like that I'm really feeling that I'm going through. It just speak to keep the vibe going on. So when it came to actually expressing myself, I always went to a notepad and I always wrote poems. And what motivated me...
But you never had no idea that you're gonna become like...
No, not music. I didn't think I was gonna rap and do... I didn't even think I was capable of that. It legit just started with poetry. And in grade 5 I had a teacher, Mr. Filler, who put me in a writing program. And in that writing program I wrote a poem that made like the Toronto Sun. And then from that they put me in some art program where they asked me to actually do spoken word. And that's when rapping started.
Okay. That's cool, man. Yeah. But so on that, during that time, did you think that because you were just doing poetry,
right?
So when you started doing the spoken, so like pretty much just going to your poet, you speaking to your poetry,
right?
Did you had any idea that I can put this into music?
No.
You just keep going.
Just doing the poetry, just following poetry, and eventually as you grow up, it evolved into music.
But when did you what was the process when you did your first song?
So I actually went to the studio with one of my friends for his song.
Oh, for his song.
Yeah, and then he asked me to get on the second verse, and all our friends said like, bro, you're good, you know. So they really put the battery in my back, and I just haven't stopped since then.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And from there, you just practicing.
Just practice, just
making songs.
I just it went from just writing poetry and raps every day, and now I just like making songs.
Yeah.
Right.
And like you said earlier, your music, it's about putting inspiring you stuff that you went through. You know what I mean? of course, inspiring the next people that coming up, you know, people that look up to you, of course. And you really want to make real music, you know. And of course, we had a lot of conversation off camera. One of your biggest inspirations, Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, for sure.
And I see a lot of similarities on your rap when I listen to when I listen to your rap, because Nipsey is also one of my biggest inspiration, and I can really relate to your music. You know, I feel that you have a lot of talent to share, but we all know talents, you know, don't just work itself. You gotta really put in the work, right? So, and one of the things that I see in you, that you can really make it far, you know what I mean? But we have to find that routine and that routine to that process, right? And setting goals for you to get to that goal. So, like right now, what do you feel like? What's your goal? Like your main goal that you're gonna get to? Because of course we have a lot of goals, but what's the closest goal that you want to accomplish right now towards music?
So like for me, like the next, I'll say it's not my ultimate goal.
Yeah.
But I want to become. I want to see myself in everyone else's playlist. Like I want to be an artist that once you're done listening to all the trash in music, at the end of the day, you come and you listen to this to unwind and think about what's really going on in life. Really just get in tune with yourself, right? But to accomplish that, I realized that because I've been doing music for a while, right? But I've always been like a closet rapper, where I never really put my stuff out there. Like I'm going through something, I go to the studio, make the song for myself, get it out, and then I'm there, right? But now that I see people actually rock with my music, they actually like there's people that actually say like, yo, I listen to this every day, whatnot.
Like I said, man, like when you put me into your music, when like the first song I heard, right or wrong, you know what I mean? The song, and when I listened to it, man, I could just feel the emotions. And you said that song was about.
It was my homie. I don't want to say his name, but my homie. He ended up catching a murder charge. But it was a crazy story because he wasn't doing something good, but at the same time, honestly, a drug deal went wrong. And his life was in danger, so he ended up doing the person before the person did him, and now he's locked behind the bars. And we were talking a lot on the phone, and just remembering how he was as a kid, and now years later, this is the circumstances that you're in. That's what inspired that song.
Yeah, bro, that's tough. And I'm sorry to hear that, but like, and like I said, I can feel the emotions, you know, that song. I can feel, and for you to make that song so relatable, somebody that probably went through the same, you know what I mean, and hear that song, they can just feel the vibe, you know what I mean. So, and I just feel that you can continue to make so much, and you have so much to share. I know that there's so much that you saw, experienced at Regent Park, you know what I mean? You have so much more to share, of course, into your music, right? But you have to put out there.
You gotta do it,
You have to put out there, and you have to be consistent with it, because you're gonna surprise a lot of people that know you. You're gonna surprise a lot of people that don't know, because you have the talent, man. I'm telling you, you have the talent.
Appreciate it.
You know what I mean? So now, my next question is, what's one thing that you can tell somebody? Because from my story, right? Once I started to get into like self-development and improvement and try to be a better person, improve myself, and I was trying to find the identity, right? I thought I knew myself. I didn't really know myself. I was still trying to find myself. So now for you, what's the one advice that you can tell somebody that in love with music, but they don't have identity for themselves. You know, they're still trying to find. They're just like literally rapping about just everything. You know what I mean? Like, especially somebody that's young. Like you started very young, right? Like you writing poetry. That's like real life. You know, that's like real emotions that you put into the pen and paper.
Right.
So, what's that one advice that you could give to somebody that has that talent, right? That can rap, that can put words together into a beat, but they don't have identities for themselves. They're just rapping about literally anything.
Right. I'll tell people, like, for one, you have to be willing to live with the consequences that comes with the energy you put out into the world.
Right.
So if every song you're a serial killer in every song, and every song you just kill 6 people, you have to remember that energy is gonna come back. And if you do make it one day and you're doing shows in Milwaukee, Minnesota, whatever, these people are gonna try you because that's who you're emulating to be.
The message that you put
in the song. Right? So just try to be true to yourself. Right? If you are a nerd rapper, you have to remember there's rappers out there that legit, like Currency only raps about muscle cars, smoking weed, things that he actually likes doing. You'll get a rapper like a J. Cole, who's a backpack college rapper who will rap about his experiences in college and whatnot. There's different ways of making it, right? So you have to be comfortable and be willing to accept all the consequences of everything that you put onto music.
And it's like about like being real.
You have to be real. Like, gee, I could go on a song and just say a whole bunch of stuff, and I know it's gonna grab attention to people over my city. But what kind of attention? Right? I could talk about people, say this and this.
Especially the people who really know you. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Who know you, right?
So
are you trying to say to the people who don't know you?
Right.
Because, you know, of course the real supporters is gonna come from the people who I should know you. Yo, I know Bishop. Yo, I felt that. I was there when that happened. You know what I mean?
It's different when people actually vouch for what you're doing and what you say.
For sure, You know what I mean? That's just like, that's one great advice that you could give to somebody that's still trying to find identity for the music, or even for anything that you're trying to do. You know, DCB, sports. You really have to be yourself.
Be true to yourself, man.
Be true to yourself.
Like, make yourself cool. Like, make being you cool, right? Like, you don't have to be like somebody else. Like, make you cool.
Because I think even for myself too, earlier too, you know what I mean? You can be as much confident you are, you still gonna find yourself like some bumps along the way, that you're gonna see somebody just like you, but you're gonna feel like, oh, that person's way cooler than me. I'm gonna try to be a little bit like them.
But now you're stepping out of your element.
You know what I mean? That's when you juggling. You're still trying to find, oh, who am I? You know what I mean? I think, what's some of your experience that you could give somebody that's still trying to find their identity? You know what I mean? Like, from your experiences, what's the one advice that you could give to somebody?
In regards to?
In regards to, like, they're still trying to find their ways. You know what I mean? Like, younger. Like, let's say somebody that's younger, that's just finishing high school. You know what I mean? They're still trying to find, they don't know what they're gonna do after high school.
I think the most important thing is to experiment with whatever your interests are, because as I stated before, you're really not gonna know things unless you put yourself out there and begin to do a little trial and error and see what your interests are, and eventually you begin to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. And don't just try to copy others because that's what you think is the cool thing, or that's what you think that's gonna be most beneficial to you. Just do whatever that you feel comfortable in, that you feel that you like, and if it doesn't work for you, then go on and try other things, because life at the end of the day is full of experience, full of trial and errors. So the only way you're going to grow, the only way you're going to get a better idea of yourself, if you continue to put yourself out there and just try different things. And so you get a better idea afterwards.
And then this goes back to sharing the music, you know what I mean? Because you don't know there's somebody that needs to hear your music.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't know there's somebody waiting for you to make that music, because most of the times there's the procrastination. Like we thinking like, yo, should I do it? I'm not gonna get no feedbacks. Because you have to understand, because when I started putting myself out there on social media, I was never a social media guy, right? I started getting really personal and putting my story online, because one thing that I on my journey, one thing that I realized, yo, there's somebody that can relate to mine, you know.
Facts.
There's somebody that needs to hear this, you know what I mean? I don't care how much feedback you're gonna get, as long as the message is there, there's always gonna be somebody that's gonna be motivated, always gonna be uplifted by that, you know what I mean?
Facts.
And like Nipsey said, the highest human act is to inspire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that stays there with me. You know, I just know that the more I get better as a person, the more I progress. Think about the people who grew up with me, the people who knew me back then. When they see my progress, or they see where I am today, that's inspiration.
It's like they feel like they're winning too.
You know what I mean? That's, yo, I went to school with this guy. You know what I mean? And just last year, one of the guys that I play basketball with, the first player from Ottawa to make it to the NBA, Mario Shea. I played with Mario. Mario, we were like close boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mario came to my wedding, and I feel like, yo, I was part of that.
Yeah.
I see him grow. You know what I mean? I was older than him, so like I give him some of my of course he was better than me, but some of my wisdom that I have, you know what I mean? I know I gave it to him. Like we had a handshake and stuff like that before we came, and I have I'm just like, I can tell my kids, yo, I play with somebody that made it to the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's inspiration, because your growth can inspire a lot of people. You know what I mean? Your message is really important. So I encourage you to, like, you know, put your stuff out there. You know what I mean? It's not just music. You know, like it could be anything. You really have to connect.
Just put the message out.
Yes, put the message out.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
My question goes in. So a lot of us tend to lose value in ourselves by the time we enter the school system, by the way we are evaluated, by the kind of things that we have to do.
Yeah.
Based on those things, we sort of lose value in ourselves and don't think that we are worth much because we're not succeeding by the standards that the school system has set. But I'm sure you've seen a lot of your friends that didn't really went about the standards by the school system, but just did things outside.
Yeah.
And by doing so, they excelled at certain things that weren't taught in school. Right? So a lot of us have a lot of talents, but those talents cannot be shown in school because of the way that we're tested. So can you share some hidden talents from your friends or from yourself that you normally cannot show at school?
Well, yeah, I'll say, like, it's funny, a lot of my friends, I won't say a lot, there's a few of my friends that I was worried about growing up. And it's funny that most of them are independent business owners now. They found all sorts of businesses. I have one friend that's a cobbler, so as a kid he always liked shoes. Like, he just loved shoes, so eventually he started like cleaning people's shoes and whatnot, and he used to do that throughout high school. Now he has like a little shop downtown Toronto, on Queen Street, where you just go, you drop off your shoes and like other like accessories and whatnot. That's what he does. He cleans.
But that's one thing that he always knew.
No, that's what he loves, shoes, and he started doing that early.
Yeah. And
he grew up, and eventually, like, he wasn't into school and whatnot, and he figured out a way to put his passion and make it a business, right? I got a homie who got into the haircutting business. A few people into the clothing business. I just seen people turn like their passions that they used to spend money on when we were kids, and now they turned it into business, which is the stuff that we didn't really learn in school, because school will tell you go to college, go to business school, do this, spend this money, and then go work for someone.
Right.
Where a lot of these people took the other route and
Yeah.
became independent
Yeah.
businessmen. Like a lot, and that's like a lot of the homies from the hood. Like they
Yeah.
really became businessmen, right?
Yeah, this goes
lot
with
of them.
especially like you said, the talents, right? Because there's a lot of people who just don't see themselves like they can't relate. They can't do school. School is not for them, and they feel like would they have other things, individual things that they love to do that they can make into profit. They can monetize into those individual things they do better than others, right? And I'll say for me, I didn't like when I was going to the school, I was just going through the motions. Because I was playing sports, you just be so distracted, right? You're not really focusing to your future. You don't know what you're really gonna do. You're thinking just basketball is gonna be the main thing, but it's really not, because you think that's the only talent that you have is in basketball, but you actually have other hidden talent that you're not focusing on. You're not even thinking about it. You know what I mean? And a lot of us from like that grew up in top places like you did, we lost, right? We lost. We're just focusing on the big picture. Yo, that you can make $1 million playing basketball, but you actually have hidden talents that we're not focusing on. And then when you go in school, and like you mentioned, that we tend to just focus on the message that we get from the teacher, like history class and all the gym class and all that. You know what I mean? And you start hating school because you can't relate to that stuff there. You know what I mean?
You're getting trained to just become a part of the system.
Yes, you know what I mean? And I'm glad I realized that late, you know what I mean? When basketball wasn't going so great for me, and things at home wasn't going so great. And I just felt like I'm not getting any younger, you know what I mean? So I had to take a step back, you know what I mean? Take a step back and go back to the basic and get to know myself, you know, to try to see what's those hidden talents, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's very interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Okay.
And this question refers back to balance.
Right.
Previous episodes we talked about interdependence.
Yes,
And
yes.
a major point that we made was balancing is a very important thing in life. So basically, in order for you to have a very productive and healthy type of life, balancing everything in your life is very important. And you say that within your music you like to share your own personal experience. Right, but balancing in terms of sharing how much of your personal experience is also very important.
Right.
Where do you put the limit in terms of how much you share and how much you keep it to yourself?
Okay, so like just in the music sense,
Yeah.
anything that I would feel ashamed of people coming back and bringing up to me, I probably wouldn't put in my music, right? Most of the things that I put in my music, if I said it, I'm willing to stand on it. And usually, if it's something that sounds negative, I know through my experience, I only put it in my music because I was able to flip it around or overcome any of the negativity that you're hearing in my music. It's never glorified.
Right.
It's saying like I was going through this and I was struggling and I didn't like this and like that, right?
Yeah.
But I can stand on that. But anything that I feel like I would feel ashamed or I couldn't explain to my parents why I said it on a song, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then that's where I probably wouldn't say it or cut it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty aware of what I'm saying in my music and whatnot. Because it's really about the message at the end of the day.
That's what it is, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Because for me, I became a fan after that one song, right? After the one song, it's like, yo, I want more song. I want to listen to what's the other message that you have, you know, what's the other song. Because when you hear a song like that, so much more, so emotions, stuff that you can relate to. Like for me, similar backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
Different places, but similar backgrounds.
Yeah.
So I want to go and search and hear more. You know what I mean? Because I like the flow, I like the beat, I like the message. You know, I just want to get to learn more about that person. You know what I mean? So the other thing that I didn't mention in the beginning is that you're also a business savvy. You know what I mean? You're a businessman. You know what I mean? I forgot about that. I forgot to mention that you have your own, one of the most popular barbershop downtown Toronto. Right? Downtown Toronto? Yeah, so tell us more about that. Like how everything started.
So it all started with my okay. It started with my homie GK. He had a vision. He was in school. He was in college for business, right?
Yeah.
And he came to us one day. He said, like, I think, like, if we all put our money together and put our talents together, we're gonna be able to do this and whatnot. So he ended up passing away, right?
Yeah.
And I went to school for I ended up going to school, but while I was in school, my friend was also in university, and he didn't like it, and he said, like, I think we could do this and da 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 da.
Yeah.
So what we did, like, I actually ended up taking some of my WhatsApp money and whatnot and gave it to the homie.
Yeah.
And like we took a risk. And
so he had the vision. No, your homie that passed away had the
GK
vision.
had the vision. Yeah, he came up with the name of the shop.
Yeah.
Everything, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So you other boy who were going to school with
yeah.
you,
So my boy, he was
knew your boys. You guys
Yeah.
were one circle.
we were all together.
One circle,
Like
okay.
this is like it's
Yeah.
crazy. This is the night before he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
He told us that we should do this. Like crazy.
Wow.
The night before he passed away, he told us that we should do this and whatnot.
Yeah.
Me, I didn't really take it too serious. I ended up going to school and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then my next homie, X,
Yeah.
he's the one that really stayed stuck on it. So he kept calling us and he kept saying, yo, let's do this, da da da. Like I'm practicing right now, da da da. So I started practicing over at Carlton and whatnot.
Yeah.
Cutting people's hair on campus, whatever.
Okay.
And then we decided that we're actually gonna do it. Right? And I was planning on moving back to Toronto anyways.
Yeah.
So we put the money together, and yeah, we had a guy, Erico, who was like the architect of it.
Yeah.
And he dealt with everything. We had like a whole team. Everybody just had to play their role, and we were able to build the shop. The shop was running for a good three years. The shop running consistently
Keep
good
growing.
until COVID hit recently.
Yeah.
And then we had to minimize. We sold a lot of the stuff and whatnot. Opened a smaller shop.
If
Got
it wasn't
access-
for COVID, of
we
course.
still have it running,
Yeah.
but now that everything is opening back, we just had to step back for a little bit because we were losing money.
Yeah.
Right, we were
Definitely,
losing
man.
money in it,
I
so
like
we had
it.
to step back for a little bit. Had to figure something out. But now that everything is opening back, we're still in it.
That's
So we're
what's
gonna
up.
hop back in it. But
That's what's
it's
up.
like it's 4 of us, and like I said, a lot of the homies
Yeah.
grew up to become business savvy. So we had this vision and we just did it. And for 3 years, it was running really smooth.
That's great, man. And like it pretty much it just started like a vision.
Yeah, no, it was for real. Like we're just like we're outside of the homie's
Yeah.
crib, and we're
Yeah,
just
that
talking
vision.
about like what we want to do in the future. He told me I should go to school for. He's like, yo, like you're really good with literature.
And what you guys call the shop?
Supreme Cuts.
Supreme Cuts.
Right.
Why Supreme Cuts?
So he wanted to do quality cuts.
Okay.
But this is around the time that like the Migos was like really coming up.
Yeah.
So so it would have been QC, and we didn't want that.
Okay.
So Supreme is a big
Big-
company. They
big
already have a
company.
logo,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it's easier to run with. So
Right.
we just did Supreme Cuts, and then the logo of it, we kind of copied the Supreme logo,
Yeah.
and right?
Relatable.
But like marketing.
Yeah, marketing.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. You know, and you have great qualities, man. As a musician, to also be you have to be a business savvy, right?
You
know
have
what I
to.
mean? So
That's the big thing I
Come
want.
down and get my haircut.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's just great, man. What's like, man? Do you have any other questions?
Yeah.
Sure.
Another question. So life is full of ups and downs,
Good.
right? And we have our families and friends to support us in order to keep us moving forward,
Right.
right? But at times, certain these people don't usually become that motivation that helps us move forward. Sometimes it comes within ourselves.
Yeah, for sure.
So my question is, what is one consistent motivator that continues to pushes you when you're at your lowest?
It's crazy. That's crazy. For the longest time, I would say for the longest time, I'm very inspired now, and I'm just filled with motivation now. But this is new energy. For the longest time, it was like I didn't have really anything that kept me motivated or like I was low. I was very low, right? And I would say maybe the only thing that would give me a little bit of energy would be my sister. But now she's older too, and she's dealing with life. She's in school, and you don't want to bother, especially when you're the older brother. You don't want to bother them with these little things that they're probably not going through yet, and you don't want, right?
Right.
So I'd have to say my girlfriend for sure came into my life and just gave me new energy, right? Just kind of reminded me of like a person I knew I was, but I forgot I was for a little bit. Just giving you that energy, constantly telling you that you could do things and whatnot. And it's like once like she awakened that person was like I haven't been able to go back dormant again, right? So now I can motivate myself, but I needed, like, it's like a car. I needed that person to go inside and get the car warm first. Get the engine warm. And that's what she did. And ever since, like, motivation is not a problem. I just dig deep a little bit. And
that's great, man. That's why I can relate to your story, man, because it's similar to mine. Because, and I said on the last podcast, because it was like I was lacking to be committed, because I always wanted to find that routine that I can do things to accomplish my goals. You know what I mean? But I was always struggling. I can never seem to do so well for a long period of time. It was like I do well for a couple months, then fall off again. You know what I mean? And because I didn't have no commitment, there was no purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Purpose. Yeah.
The purpose, right? So when my wife came into my life, when I started dating my wife at the time, when she had everything together for herself, she had a career for herself, and I just knew that I had to find that, and she helped me like see the big picture.
Right.
You know what I mean? Be responsible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when you're just living every day just like it is, you just do whatever.
You're existing, you're not living.
Yes, you have no purpose, you know what I mean? And the people around you, and you're just down to do whatever, you know what I mean? So her walking into my life, she walking at the perfect time. And your story, it's like, man, like, yo, I've been to that, you know what I mean? And then the one thing that I was like telling myself is like, I don't want to go back. So what's one thing that's gonna help me to stay consistent, to keep improving, to try to be better and better and better? You know? Of course, that's when I started doing that sleepless growing more routine. You know what I mean? But my girl, she's a big part of where I am today.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of course, she's my wife now and stuff like that. But your story, it's bro. You know what I mean? That's why you have to put your music out there. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? So. Yeah.
Right. So another question. We talked about earlier about the challenges that you went through as a kid and how that greatly helped you becoming a disciplined, accountable individual that's motivated, self-motivated to get anything done. So obviously challenges never end. They continue to come time after time after time. So I want you to, if you don't mind, can you share an experience in terms of how should I say this? How do you deal with challenges that come ahead, specifically in music? Like, trying to come up with lines or whatever it is that you want to talk about.
Hey, this is kind of like similar to my question, right? Like, what's the process until writing your music, right?
Yeah.
Do you, do you get the beats before? Or you because you write, right? You
like
write.
I did I kind of the last few songs. No, now I just been going off the vibes.
Okay.
Right? Because I feel like now when you write, when you deliver it, it doesn't come as authentic. When you deliver, when you're reading it, right? It doesn't come up that's what I'm noticing so far with the new stuff that I've made. Like I've just been going off the vibe. So I'll get a beat, I'll practice on the beat. Like all day, and then it's weird. Like I'll switch the beat on myself last minute,
okay,
and then get into the studio and kind of just challenge myself to do something new to it. But like now, because you've been rapping all day, you're inspired already.
Right.
You have so many like pre-written bars in your head, like you already have like momentum going and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I just switched the beat on myself just to challenge myself to like come really original and authentic on like a beat. Now that's why the last song you guys heard the mumbling in the beginning. I said keep all of that, but as soon as I was done doing the mumbling, I just started going in. Right, and I said keep all of that. That's gonna be a part of my style.
The vibe and then
right?
from that.
And that comes with the process. You just getting better and better.
Right now, like it's almost automatic. Right. But a part of your question that you're asking, the challenges don't come from like creating the music anymore. It's like honestly doing everything else with the music. Right.
What is the process that you go through when you have those challenges?
Well, like putting out the music.
Yeah. It's kind of like you have like you kind of like need like a team.
That's exactly what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
To help you with the other stuff because we can be good at everything.
And I don't like doing it. I just like making the music. Yeah. I don't even, I delete Instagram and all that stuff all the time because
it
I don't
stressful.
like doing any of that
becomes
stuff.
Really stressful, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of people stop on something that they're really good at because they can do the other things. Right. But when you stuck, you just have to continue getting perfect whatever you're good at.
Right.
If you're good at making music, you just have to continue to get better at that. Because eventually, it's just with anything. Eventually, you're gonna find like it. And also building relationships, right? When people know you're good at something, they want to help you.
They want you to get to your goal because it's gonna help them get to their goal.
Right.
Right.
There's somebody that's looking for your talent.
We gotta put yourself out there, though.
You have to put yourself there. So when I say when you have to put yourself there, you have to continue doing music because that's where you're good at.
Right.
With the other things, gonna come with the process if you don't stop. One of the things that I told myself, even when I was starting the brand, right? I was stuck too because I didn't know like the whole marketing, launching. I didn't know. Like I almost quit, almost stopped. Even editing the videos, but I almost quit, almost stopped. But I just keep going because it was like my routine, you know. And it's just like what I like was the feedback. So I wanted to get more feedback.
Okay, so you got motivation from the feedback.
Yes, I wanted to like the feedback. And guess what? I found my purpose to inspire.
Yeah.
And that's my passion until this day, and that's what I want. And now this thing is I just want to keep improving what I do best.
Right.
You know what I mean? What I do best is to put my message out there. Now how I have to deliver my message in a way where people can understand clear.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So with you, it's just like content, and content for you is music.
Yeah.
Music. Eventually, there's gonna be people, the missing pieces that you need.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Somebody to help you with the marketing, somebody to help you with creating content. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you have the machine.
Yeah.
You just need the other pieces to help you put everything together. You know what I mean? But one thing that I share this with people: you only fail when you quit or when you stop.
Facts.
Like you literally, because even you don't get what you're looking for, you don't get what you're striving for, it's not a failure.
Yeah.
It's just a lesson that you're learning.
It's a lesson.
You know what I mean?
Really, it's just if you don't complete it.
If you just stop, completely stop, that's fail. That's failure.
That's why I like that quote where they say, shoot for the stars, and if you miss, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you're still amongst the stars, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
Definitely, man. And we're gonna keep it this quote. Can you elaborate this quote?
On the quote?
Yeah. With shoot for the moon, aim for the stars.
So you shoot for the moon, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't hit the moon, it doesn't matter because you're still up amongst the stars. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not really like you didn't really fail.
That's tough. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
I do have a question.
Okay, go ahead because I have questions too, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So just like habits, whenever you working towards your habit and you accomplish in getting to that habit,
Right.
it also affects other areas in your life.
Sure.
Because now that you attain that habit, you have now good routines and good things that you're pretty good at,
Right.
right? So speaking on music, right? Obviously you were at another level than what you were at from the start, right? Now you see things much more clear. Can you like list or describe some of the skills that you learned outside of music that came from learning music or developing music?
So like skills that I developed
Through
that help
music.
in my okay.
Yeah, that help in other areas of
for
your
sure.
life.
For one, not taking criticism too serious. So if you're gonna make music and you're gonna show it to people, you have to learn how to perceive criticism.
Yeah.
Right? That's one thing. Another thing is for example, I used to book studio sessions, and for one, I'll pull up late to the studio session, and on top of that, I wouldn't be ready. So by the time I start making my music, say I have a 2-hour session, now that session's an hour and 15 minutes.
You're rushing to the process.
So now I'm rushing to the process. So that, like, you know how in school they teach you to be on time and whatnot? Like, it reminded me of, like, okay, that's why they were teaching you about.
That comes with commitment.
Punctuality.
Punctuality.
Yeah, it's important. So that's another place where I learned, like you have to be on time and you have to get your money's worth for everything, because once you start seeing how much money you're spending on the studio, and now you're arriving late, and now you're there and you're not even like putting in work for like another 20 minutes. So, and that's something that I was able to take from learning from the recording process to like other things in life. You gotta get your money's worth for everything.
Right.
So I would say about maybe those two things.
Yeah. That's a
And
great
just
skills.
preparation.
Yeah, preparation. Yeah.
Yeah. So, any other source that you use, like to use in music, like any other thing that you use, like let's say, how did you go? Anybody help you in creating like melodies and like the chorus of the song, like just pretty much how to make the whole song, or is just something that you developed yourself?
It's just something I developed myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the most inspiration I would have would be probably from like other artists. Like bigger artists.
Yeah.
But really, like my music, that's the thing, I can't ever be someone can't write my music for me, because my music is really, it's my story. Like it's so deep, like it's so personal.
Okay.
So I wouldn't even if someone could write me a song and it's a hit, maybe for the money if I needed it, but I wouldn't be proud of it. Right? I want to be able to listen to the bars and relate to it myself.
Okay.
Every single bar I say. Right?
Can you name three of the most influential people when it comes to music to you?
Okay, yeah, for sure. It's funny. First, I'll say Eazy-E. One, he's not the best rapper ever, but he's the rapper that made me like fall in love with hip hop.
Okay.
Yeah, through Eazy-E, I wanted to know way more about rap. You know, he had the Jerry curls, the whole LA swag,
cool,
like
voice,
like the high pitched voice and whatnot. So, and the first song I ever learned was Boys in the Hood.
Okay.
So he would be one, and then
that's crazy for your age group to be inspired by it. Like
but I started backwards.
Okay.
Like I started with the old school rappers, and then later on started gravitating to new school rappers. But like my favorite rapper early on was Ghostface Killer, and when I first started rapping, I used to try to sound just like Ghostface Killer. Like my first rap, like it was just like it sounded just like, you know, like we be on the corner grabbing the quarters to your pregnant mother. You could tell I'm from the gutter, like just straight Ghostface. So I would say most influential rappers were Eazy-E. Later on was Wayne. And then I'd say Eazy-E, Wayne.
That's when Wayne was like
on fire.
On fire.
I'll probably say those two, man. And then after, like, for rap style, like, I'll probably throw Bone Thugs and Harmony in there too.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
How about Nipsey?
But Nipsey doesn't inspire my rap style.
Okay.
It's a lifestyle. He inspires the lifestyle, right?
That's what's up.
Not the rap style.
The rap
right.
style.
Yeah.
And he's so
Because
relatable.
he's so LA with it. I wouldn't be able to emulate what he does, right? But like lifestyle, he definitely inspires a whole lifestyle.
Okay. Yeah. So from now, we want you to give your social medias, your platform, because we want all the supporters to really get to know you and get into your music and get really and for people, artists out there, right? Of course here in Ottawa, because you're here in Ottawa now, people who maybe want a future, people want to collab with you and stuff like that. Let me give you your social media and stuff like that.
So my socials is only Bishop through all the platforms, Instagram, Twitter, just all of that.
No Facebook, no Facebook.
No Facebook.
Okay. Twitter, Instagram.
And that's about it. And then after, like, on the Spotify, it's the same thing. Spotify, Apple Music, it's only Bishop.
Only Bishop?
Yeah.
Oh, iMusic, only Bishop?
All of it. Yeah, all of it.
Only Bishop?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. That's what's up.
And
You have any songs on iMusic?
yeah, I have Right or Wrong out right now. I
That's
have
what's up.
Brothers Keeper. I have one that I released not too long ago called Glad to Be Here.
Yeah.
And then just for the rest of the April, I'm just gonna be going
And what's
crazy.
that song? Red and Roses?
Red Rum.
Red Rum.
Yeah, that one's not. Oh, you're talking about the one that released?
Oh, it's just released?
No.
You know the one that you wanted to make the video?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's Red Rum. So that
Red
that
Rum?
one's not out yet.
Oh, it's not out
Yeah,
yet.
that one's not yet. Oh yeah, I'm gonna save that for my
Okay,
project.
Red one.
Red Rum, yeah.
And the song,
Murder backwards.
and the song, of
Oh.
course, that we
Wow.
started the intro, which is the new that is you're gonna release it in 2 weeks. You said.
Right, right. So that song is called BG, which stands for Bro God, which is what me and like my close friends been calling each other ever since grade 5.
Yeah.
And it's just a vibe, and like just a vibe, and just sharing a little bit more about myself and where I'm at with things, and it's gonna be coming out real soon.
Stay tuned, and check with him, Only Bishop. You see on the screen right here,
It's gonna have the things popping up.
for sure, bro, for sure. You know what I mean? Follow him, don't hesitate to, if you want a future, if you want to collab, if you a music producer, a videographer, look into for content, hit on Only Bishop, you know what I mean? And we like to close the podcast with a quote, and the quote that I have today is finding your niche. So it's when you find your niche, you just gotta continue to be confident and thrive in it.
Okay.
What can you just talk about this quote?
Since he's our first special guest, we'll give him the honor to go ahead and elaborate if he agrees or disagrees, or if he
I'd
wants
say
to
with
say
that
anything.
quote,
Yeah.
I'm gonna embody that quote, and by next year, my life is gonna look different for sure. But I'm not a professional at that quote yet, because that quote is exactly why I don't have a bunch of music yet. I found my niche, right?
Yeah.
But I've always put other things in front of it,
Right.
right? So
Because they said you gotta continue to be confident.
confident and thriving. You can never lose confidence. You can't
Right.
compare yourself with anyone.
Yeah.
You can't stay dormant.
Yeah.
You can't sleep on yourself. So a niche, you find your niche, which is gonna probably be something you're just good at or something you love, and you have to take full advantage of it. And if you don't, you're gonna be left doing something you hate doing throughout your life.
Yeah.
Right. I think he just mentioned a very good point.
Yeah.
Earlier, you asked the question in terms of like, how do you go about growing, finding yourself? And I said through exploring, through just doing things that you're not comfortable doing, and just to figure out exactly what you're best at and what you're worst at. But the one thing I want to like highlight on this quote is that could be very dangerous in terms of like finding your niche, because most people tend to get really comfortable towards something that they're really good at. Because what you have to understand, like life is about growing. So the moment you find your niche, you probably get very comfortable and just stay there.
That's a good way of
Right?
looking
So
at
it's very important to, you know, okay,
Not
this
get
is what
too
you're
comfortable?
Yeah, this is what you're comfortable in, but never limit yourself to just staying there.
Right.
Right? Maybe that can be your home, but continue to go out other places and learn different things. And that's how you continue to grow. Because if you stay dormant, you're stagnant and you're dying.
You don't
right?
really find your full potential.
Exactly.
Okay.
Never limit yourself.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much what the quote's all about. For me, you said it all, because and it goes back to my early back in when I was in, let's say in high school, when I was finishing high school, right? My niche was basketball, and I just had a 10 vision, and all I see is just basketball.
So you're blinded by everything
I'm
else.
blinded by everything else, not like really improving in other areas that I needed to improve that was gonna help me when I got to college, right? Because when I got to, my ultimate goal at the time was to really play college ball, and I did that. Now after college ball is to go into professional basketball, right? Then it just seemed like there was no it was gonna take me a while for me to get to the professional level, you know what I mean? And as you see your peers going far and you're still low,
Yeah.
and you have nothing other than basketball to look up to, you know what I mean? And basketball was the only thing. Now, that thing that made you comfortable as an individual all this time into college, now you're feeling like, yo, might not be the thing, and I'm not good at anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started losing the confidence. So what's out there? What's out there? So, and I knew that was like, you can't just focus on one thing like you said, because how are you gonna find the confidence every day to keep thriving it, to keep going, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's really looking as in life in general, like you getting better as an individual, as a person, you improving in every area in your life, you know what I mean? Like as a son, a boyfriend, friend, anybody that you just feel like wherever you are, you're making an impact, and you feel like your presence means something. Your worth, knowing your worth, you know what I mean? And finding your niche, and continue to be better in every area in your life. Yeah, so we're gonna end the podcast here. You know, thank you for listening to us, and we're gonna continue bringing you a special guest. You know what I mean? And see you.